Hey guys, how's it going? So as you guys know, Void Tower just reset. So I'm going to share the basic strategy that I use in order to help me clear Void Tower, normal and hard. So you can utilize this strategy in normal. It's going to be even better because with Lunar Melizza, as you guys can tell from the title here, we're going to be showcasing Lunar Melizza just a little bit. Her S2 is 100% trigger rate for a stun, and her S3 is going to be a 1 to 2 turn taunt. So we're going to be utilizing her, and you do need a win checks to use Lunar Melizza in hard tower. If you're doing common, you don't necessarily need wind tricks, I don't think, because common they're just so squishy. If you have like two DPS units on decent gear, you should ideally be able to beat it. But if you guys want some more free to play teams, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of them out there on YouTube. Just go ahead and search it up, and I'm sure you'll find one. But this is more so a cleaving strategy, a manual cleaving strategy that you can utilize if you have a Lunar Melizza, a wind tricks for hard. And if you don't have a wind checks, you can actually use a shield guard orc. Shield guard orc here, guys. If I can find mine here, I don't actually use them, but you can use him for normal or common. That is, but you won't be able to use him for the hard tower. Now, where did my shield? Okay, here he is. So I'll just let's just go ahead and look at his skills here. Grants attack up and speed to all members is 30% attack and plus 30 speed. So it's better than nothing if your units are slower. But go ahead and use a shield guard orc in replacement of wind checks for a common climb. And once you get to hard, you might be able to use it for some stages, maybe the lower stages. But once you get to the higher stages, wind checks S2 is going to come in clutch with Lunar Melizza. But in terms of spell, guys, we're going to be bringing in defense break and raging aura, and we're going to be using the strip skill Water Prism on the stages that have Dark Nicholas and Light Nicholas. So just those are the only three skills that you're going to be using. All right. So in terms of DPS, obviously use Nephalia, Valeria, Evra, Hadrasia, Sierra, whoever you have. Ideally, two. If you're cleaving through tower, you're going to want two AOE nukers, correct? So just those that I mentioned, or Zetlux, if I didn't mention Zetlux yet. And if you only have one, that's fine. You probably won't be able to utilize this as basic strategy to its full potential, just because you need to be able to cleave through waves 1 and 2 if there's 3 waves, or clear the waves 1 with the one of your DPS nukers, right, to get to the second wave. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. And I'll just kind of show you guys what I did in order to help me clear through hard tower. Now, in terms of Lunar Melizza, I did replace Lunar Melizza with William on some stages. Some stages require you to have a little bit more damage, so just look at your team. If you're dying too fast, maybe try Lunar Melizza, and if you're not doing enough damage, maybe try a William. All right, so I did kind of flip flop between those two, and all I can say is if I didn't have Lunar Melizza, I wouldn't have been able to clear hard tower with just cleaving. So once we go into the waves, guys, we're going to go ahead and use a speed buff here. And because we want our team to go first, so whether it's a Wintrex or whether it's a Shield Guard Orc, go ahead and do that. And once we get to Lunar Melizza, you want Lunar Melizza to go second. In terms of the waves 1 and 2, depending on how many waves there are, just go ahead and use S1 and save her S3 for the last stage. Now, whoever your DPS is, whether it's Valeria, Nephalia, Evra, go ahead and cleave out waves 1, and it'll take you to the next wave. Once we get to the last wave, guys, second wave, or rather it's a third wave, we're going to go ahead and make sure your wind checks has enough focus, so maybe around like 60% focus or so, just so you can land a defense break. Go ahead and proc the defense break here and use the S1 on whatever unit that you want here. Let's just use it on this chick. And Lunar, or I guess Nephalia will go first. Nephalia is going to be my highest DPS AoE nuker here, so we're going to use Raging Aura on her, and we're going to go ahead and nuke. And hopefully we don't kill it, just so I can showcase Lunar Melizza here. Okay, sweet, so we don't actually kill it. So we're going to go ahead and use a taunt skill now. So this taunt skill basically is going to give you DPS units an additional 1 turn or 2 turn, potentially 2 to 4 turns once we reset it with wind tracks. So I don't want to kill it just to showcase the team, but I'm just going to go a skill 1. Ideally, I would do S3. But in this situation, Savannah actually didn't get taunt, right? So we're going to go ahead and reset Lunar Melizza. This is the strategy here. Literally reset Lunar Melizza so she can go ahead and do a taunt again for a potential 1 turn to 2 turn taunt. And now we have a 2 turn taunt here, guys. You have 2 full turns to do maximum damage. And yes, I could do an S3 here, but let's just, in terms of just showcasing wise, let's just use S1 just so maybe we can rotate through a little bit more. All right, sweet. And here we are, guys. She's still taunted, and we're gonna have another full round to do damage with our DPS unit. So go ahead and just use S3 and Windtrex and boost up your team here. And Lunar Melizza, you do have an S2 that can stun, but again, in hard, you can't stun units. But if you're only in common and you have Lunar Melizza, you can use this S2 on the enemy and it will actually stun them as long as you have enough focus. Lunar Melizza needs to be going second, it needs to be tanky, and it needs to have some focus, alright? So in order to fully utilize Lunar Melizza. So obviously we can't stun, so let's just go ahead and do a skill 1. I guess I should have done a skill 2 just to do a little bit more damage. But it's a lower stage, so we complete it. So let's go ahead and jump into the next wave just to showcase it just a little bit more, and I'll see you guys there. Alright guys, so let's jump into floor 43. So as I mentioned earlier guys, there is a light necklace here, so you're going to want to bring in that strip spell, since your DPS units probably won't have a strip unless you have like a Vance that can attack your shield, or you actually built a like I don't know, like an Edicris maybe that can has a S1 strip as well. But as you guys can see here, you guys can see the team, it's wood heavy, so obviously you want to bring in fire for obvious reasons, for elemental advantage. So we're going to be using the same team, but we're going to change up. We're not going to bring Rage Aura this time. We're going to bring Water Prism so we can actually strip that Death Immunity that Light Nicholas does, or Dark Nicholas. And yeah, I'm just going to walk through the strat again, and hopefully we complete it. So once we get into the waves here, guys, again, Windtrex here, going to want to boost your team. So your DPS units can go before the waves to take minimum damage from the waves. Once you get to Lunar Melizza, just do S1 on a random unit. And once your DPS comes up, go ahead and do it S3 to cleave the wave here. So here we are going to waves 2. We're going to defense break with Windtrex, or it's going to be Shield Guard Orc, wherever you have. Make sure Shield Guard Orc has focus as well, just so you can land the defense break. Now S1 here, go ahead and just use the S1 a random unit, that's fine. And since it's wood heavy, we're going to use, oh, I thought I had Rage Aura here, but just take note that let's just say if Light Nicholas wasn't actually here, or Dark Nicholas, and you brought in Rage Aura, pay attention to the elements. Obviously, you don't want to use a Rage Aura on Nathalia right now because she's elemental disadvantage for 3 of the units, so you want to save it for Valeria, alright? Just for like future stages, just keep that in mind. So go ahead and use S3 on Nathalia or whoever your DPS units are. And then we're going to do the S3 taunt on the enemies here. So hopefully we get some 2-turn taunts here. So we get a 2-turn, 1-turn, 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 awesome. As long as we land 1 turn, that's perfectly fine. And then once you get to your other DPS, go ahead and do another S3. And we have Death Immunity up there, and we have the strip skill here. So we can go ahead and do the strip on Light Nicholas here, so we can actually kill it. Awesome. And then Gunjella is actually still taunt, right? So that's a big thing. That's the whole point of this strategy, right? So once we get to the next stage here, guys, we're gonna do the S2 proc on Lunar Melizza so that she can proc her ultimate again and do a 1 to 2 turn taunt, giving your DPS an additional 1 or 2 turns to do maximum damage. So we guarantee another round, and we just go ahead and finish it off, guys. So that's it, guys. It's pretty basic. As long as you read the description of Lunar Melizza, it's pretty straightforward. Basically cleaving, taunting, resetting Windtrex. If you're doing common and you don't have a Windtrex, you can use a Shield Guard Orc. Once you get too hard, you're probably going to want to use a Windtrex, alright? So that's it, guys. That's going to be it for the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you learned something about Lunar Melizza, make sure you sub, make sure you like, leave a comment down below if you're actually using the team or it's in some shape or form, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.